I've done over $300,000 with my fashion dropshipping brand in the last 30 days and over 100,000 in the last 2 weeks. And I've decided to make this video to share all the knowledge and all the secrets that I've learned through this journey and through working with countless amount of students. The knowledge that I will share with you in this video, all the secrets and tips nobody else is talking about. I've never talked about them in any of my previous videos. It's not the technical stuff, it's some of the things that you need to know that will make your journey 1,000 times easier. And these are really details that nobody else understands about this strategy and how to be able to scale to these numbers easily, to be honest. But you need to understand these concepts and you need to understand how to navigate them. Okay, so we'll go over everything in this video. I'll also show you the proof on how we were able to get these numbers, show you the exact store link, and reveal some of the things that we do. So if you watch this video and understand it, you're kind of familiar with this strategy. This is going to change everything. I just landed in Dubai a few hours ago. I'm sitting here in the living room and I've decided to go everything. I have all of my notes here, prepared the whole process of what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to jump into my computer and we'll talk about it. So if you like this video and want to see more fashion dropshipping content, this brand that I'll show you here, I built live on my channel from absolute scratch, shown the whole process and scaled it to, like I said, over $300,000 per month. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see the latest updates about this brand, and let's get right into it. So first things first, we'll go over the results, right? So you can see here 222,000 pounds in the last month. So I'll give you a refresher just so you can make sure that this is real. So this is $300,000 in the month of September, so the last 30 days. And if we look at the last 2 weeks, here you can see we're currently at 70,000 pounds, which is around $100,000, okay? And you can see that we've done days as big as, if I'm not mistaken, 20th of September, 10,855 pounds, which is a little bit over $15,000 in just one day. So I'm going to talk about the whole strategy. I'll show you the store first so you can make sure that this is real and fully transparent store that I built live on my channel. Like I said, shown the whole process, didn't hide anything, fully transparent. Okay, this is what the store looks like. So now I'm going to get into my notes and everything that I've wrote down while going through this whole strategy and working with so many students and seeing so many different setups and what you can learn from that to apply it to your business and your dropshipping journey. But all these things, like I said, these are pretty advanced things that you need to absorb and understand to be able to navigate your process properly. The first thing I'm going to talk about, this is stuff that I've talked about in my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you're going to find my Instagram in the description. It's at RealSimoB. I share all these things in my stories, but I wanted to condense them and put them all in one video so you can take advantage of that, because I know that a lot of people are following only my YouTube channel. So first thing is going to be ad account favoritism. Not all ad accounts are created equal. If you've been running your strategy, following the exact guidelines from my dropshipping challenge, you're convinced that you're doing everything properly with the right mindset, which is something I'm not really gonna dive into in this video because we talked about mindset in my previous videos, and you can go over the technical stuff as well. But if you've been doing everything properly but your numbers are awful, that means that probably you don't have the right ad account. One thing you need to understand about ad accounts on Facebook is they're also related to your setup. So if you have a messed up Facebook profile that was flagged in the past by Facebook, or you have a bad Facebook page that has a low feedback score, or you have a business manager that's scammy that you bought from X location from some guy, random guy on Instagram, is probably never going to work. You can keep pushing, I don't know, 500, 600 products. None of them is gonna hit ever. That's when it comes to having the right setup on Facebook to have a good ad account. Then we move into the ad accounts by themselves. Second thing, you need to set up your pixel right. I usually use apps like Omega Pixel, One Pixel. There's also apps like WeTracked or TrackB. These are all good apps that you can use to track your pixel on Meta, and it's super important to have your pixel set up right. Then from there, you need to be using an untapped theme. If you're using the same theme as all the other dropshippers, you're already flagged by Meta. You show up as being one of these dropshippers, that you have one of these dropshipping stores. So what I mean by untapped theme is a theme that only a few hundred people are using. You're never going to find a theme that nobody else is using. But don't use a theme that tens of thousands of people are using or hundreds of thousands of people are using, because first of all, it will give a bad first feeling to the customer. It will be like, oh, it's just another store. Oh, I remember I bought from a store like this and it didn't end up good for me. And it also means that you don't differentiate yourself. Okay, so that's very important. When it comes to the theme, I already talked about this. I've shown how I've created my store. You can see it here. Like I told you, this is a theme that not a lot of people are using. Only people from my community are using. I'm not going to go into detail into what the theme is and how to use it, but basically, if you want to get this theme, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at RealSimoB. I can get it for you. It takes like 30 minutes to set up. I'll try to link a video on how to do it, but make sure that you know that you got to pay for it. This is a theme with license. It's not a cracked theme, and that's a big problem as well. A lot of people are using cracked theme and getting the same theme as everybody else, and Facebook basically flags these themes. So that's everything around the setup. Now we move into ad accounts. If you have the perfect setup, the perfect store, the perfect Facebook healthy setup, you still need to have a very healthy ad account. So a very healthy ad account could be your personal account. But if you have a history with Facebook of doing random things, doing bad dropshipping, okay, you don't ship on time, you didn't sell the right products, your stuff wasn't converting, it's probably time to go for an agency ad account. And at the time where you create an agency ad account, you need to test a certain amount of products the correct way. See the results that you get. If you see that the results are not where they should be, it's time to split test ad accounts. So you'll get multiple ad accounts from multiple different sources. All of these sources need to be very solid agencies that create ad accounts and that have ad accounts that perform for other people. And you need to take all these accounts and test them together at the same time with the same products, with the same strategy, and see which one performs better and double down on that one. Ad account favoritism. This was the first subject I wanted to talk about. We'll then talk about, once you have an ad account and it's performing good, how to keep the balance of that ad account, because that's just as important. These are things that nobody else is talking about. And this is very advanced stuff that we go over with my students. A lot of times with my students, we'll end up in situations like this, and that's how we fix it and we're able to take things to the next level. This is something to keep in mind when it comes to ad account favoritism. Like I said, Facebook chooses everything for you. One product could be working amazing for someone and not working at all for someone else. Someone could be doing $20,000 per day with that product, but it just doesn't stick with your ad account and with your setup. So it's, at the end of the day, it's Facebook choosing for you who's gonna get the sales, who's not gonna get the sales, and you need to work by their rules and you need to have the right setup and good behavior with them. So second thing that's super important is you need to track every single metric for everything. So a lot of people I see are running this business blindly, fully focused on feelings and emotions. So they run a product, they'll see how much is selling, and they're not really tracking everything over a certain period of time. There's no point in really looking at the numbers over a 24-hour period or micromanaging it during the day, unless you're in the first day of testing. What's really important is to track everything over multiple days and to double down on what's working for you. So that comes back to the setup. That's what I wanted to talk about. The ad account favoritism is because if you have a certain type of product from a certain competitor that's performing good for you, you probably need to double down on this style of products. I'll see people testing all the same type of products. For example, they'll be testing dresses only, but dresses is not something that their setup is made for. Okay, so they'll keep testing dresses until they run out of budget and they'll never see results. What's important is to diversify the type of products that you're testing to be able to see what's working for your setup. And once you know what's working for your setup, you need to double down on that. The type of visuals that you're getting, the type of prices on those products, and also the type of products themselves. Another thing, you need to let things run if you think it has potential. Most of the time, some products, they won't be profitable at the start. It's very, very hard, even during testing, to be profitable from the get-go. But Facebook needs time to warm up the audience, needs time to process that product, that visual, that creative, to make sure that a certain category of people really connects with it and that they convert. So they're able to find you more people like that. So sometimes it's worth it to let a few tests run, considering they're not losing too much money, obviously, when they're around break even. Okay, if you see that they have potential and that they're selling. And you need also to double down on that once again, find more products that look like this and run them. Like I said, this video is going to be very, very advanced stuff about fashion dropshipping. So you really need to be focused here, because now we're going to get into the most important things like product research, keeping the ad account balance, fulfillment, returns and refunds. We'll go over everything. Don't overspend on products, and don't let emotions take control of the business. The business needs to be taken control of in your tracking. The tracking is what decides what's going to happen in your business. It's not running a product, seeing that you get in sales and just doubling budget on it, not even knowing exactly how much money you're making. If you want to be successful at a high level, running big numbers, 100,000, 200,000 per month, 300,000 per month, you need to know at the exact dollar how much profit you're making. So for example, at $300,000 in sales per month, I can tell you, go into my profit sheet and tell you at the exact dollar, even the exact cent, how much profit we're doing, okay? And that it would include returns, refunds, everything is tracked to the T. And especially during scaling, every single day, at the end of the day, I'll enter my numbers and know exactly how much I'm making. And that will allow me to take better decisions. Ultimately, if you compare someone that's able to look at the exact numbers over 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and someone that's just running it blindly, you know who's going to perform and who's going to be able to get the numbers, because they know they have a huge advantage over the data, because this business is all focused on data and metrics, and that's what should control the business, not emotions. Now we'll talk about product research, okay? I see a lot of people, they'll go right into, for example, I talked about ad account favoritism. And I've seen it in my Instagram. See, everybody just sending me messages. Yeah, I'm sure this is the current case for my store. But what they don't understand is, before we even start talking about the setup, is, are you doing the research properly? And are you testing the right products? And that's 100% the most important thing in this strategy. If you're not testing the right products, there's really no way you're ever gonna get there. Because someone who's testing 100 of the right products and someone else that's testing 100 of the wrong products, there's really no comparison between these two people, and they're not going to get the same results. So your input is your product research, okay? Considering you have the right setup, you have the right store, you have the right testing strategy. Your input really changes at the product research level. So you need to choose the right products, the ones that are working for competitors and the ones that could work for you. I see a lot of people, they get frustrated doing product research and they just start taking everything. They'll see a fashion product, they'll just run it. And that's not really the way to go. You need to focus on keeping the quality of your input, the quality of the products that you're adding to your sheet and that you're choosing for your store to get the best results possible. So never get frustrated at product research, and try to save time by finding as many products as possible and just filling your product research sheet, for example, with random products. Always make sure that you're hand-picking every single product that you'll be testing, and that you're spending plenty of time in product research to get the best products possible, so that when you're testing, you're also getting the best results possible. Also, I see a lot of people ignoring products because of season, okay, or some random thought that they have in their brain, or some random theory that they created. Oh, right now in Australia, it's getting a little bit warm, so I should only be testing summer products. What happens is they'll be ignoring a lot of products that are currently scaling for some competitor, some products that probably have less competition as well, and some products that are performing well that would have took them to $100,000 months if they tested it at the right time. So really, for myself, I don't focus that much on any external factor. I only focus on the data. If I see someone running a product in a certain period, I would run it as well. I've scaled winter products in summer, I've scaled summer products in winter, and it's really random. What you need to make sure is to test all the good quality products that have been scaled by competitors, whether it's now or a few months ago or last year. So that's something you really need to understand. You need to have the highest quality visuals for your products. You need to have the highest quality setup, and you need to test the products that make the most sense when it comes to the metric and the data, not based on you and your subjective view of what you think a good product is, okay? And all these things, like I said, I've talked about in my previous video, step by step, on how to do it multiple times. I keep repeating product research. I'll keep repeating it in future videos. and every single step of the process, because a lot of people still don't understand it. And that's the way to go. You need to understand every single part of the process to be able to execute on it. So now we'll talk about keeping the balance of the ad account, and I'll talk about a very important subject, which is I need to test X amount of products per day. So I've seen a lot of people that tell me, how many products should I test in a day? What's the rule? So you'll see a lot of gurus, a lot of coaches, e-com mentors, whatever, saying that, for example, in their program, you need to test a minimum of 5 or 10 products per day. And I'll explain why this really does not make sense and what's the reason why these coaches will tell you to test this amount of products per day. So most e-com coaches, they'll have a guarantee, and they'll set their guarantee based on your involvement. So they'll say, okay, if by the end of the second month you're not doing 1 million in sales or $200,000 in sales, we'll give you your money back. And that's just a strategy to close you, okay? Because they have these strategies of giving you guarantees so you can buy into their coaching, and they're just trying to scale their coaching offer as high as possible. To do that, they give you this guarantee, but they also need a way to escape that guarantee if you don't get those results at the end of the second or third month, because nobody can give you a guarantee on how much revenue you're going to do. And everybody that actually believes that is completely out of touch with reality, okay? In a business, nobody can ever predict what's the amount of revenue you're going to do in a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. But what they can do is they can basically put a limit on you of, let's say, test 5 products per day. And if you don't test 5 products per day, by the end of the second month, you will come to them. You say, okay, I didn't do $200,000 in sales. Say how many products you've tested. You say, I've tested 100 products. They say, okay. But in 2 months, we were supposed to test 300 products. That's the rule. You're not getting a refund. I'll tell you the way I personally do it when it comes to products testing. There are days where I'll test 0 products. There are days where I'll test 20 products. And that depends on the balance I want to keep in my ad account. And that's super, super important. I've seen people burn themselves testing 5 products per day non-stop and trying to scale at the same time. What happens is that when you have, let's say, a product at $200 per day budget and you're trying to scale that product, but next to it, you're testing 5 products. So you have a product at $200 per day budget and you have 5 products at, let's say, $30 or $50 per day. So let's say it's at $50 per day. The way Facebook sees it is he sees that you have $250 per day budget allocated to testing and finding 5 different new audiences. So what Facebook will decide is that the priority is that I find these audiences for this person. This person is focused on testing, is focused on finding new audiences. So what it will do is on that campaign where you have $200 per day, it will not optimize it properly, and we will probably go and find a new audience for it. So the numbers that you were getting at, let's say, $100 per day budget, and that group of people that you were targeting is going to change because Facebook is focused on testing new things. So anytime I'll be scaling a product, I won't be testing new products the next day, or maximum I'll be testing 1 to 2 products. When I run out of products, I'll go crazy on testing, okay? If I don't really need to see any type of balance on my ad account, I will just go crazy on testing and test as many products as possible because there's nothing to mess up, okay? I'm still looking, I'm still prospecting for new products. That's something really to keep in mind, and that's super important. You need to slow down on the testing when scaling and don't over test while scaling. It can affect the stability of the whole ad account, and that's the most important thing you need to keep when you're scaling. A rule of thumb for me in business in general is never change something that works. You can optimize it and prepare to optimize it, and I'll only optimize it if I have nothing to lose. If I have something to lose, I won't go too crazy on over optimization unless it's something that holds 0 risk. So super important to keep in mind. With my students, like I told you, we don't test less than other people, but we test differently than other people, okay? So some people will test 5 per day. Sometimes we'll just come, we'll be prospecting and we'll be testing 15 to 20 products per day every single day or 3 times a week, okay? And we'll go basically and end up testing more products than people that consistently testing every day, and we get better results. Now we'll talk about 2 of the most important subjects that you need to understand, which are going to be fulfillment and returns and refunds. For fulfillment, always check the quality of the products before you ship them. If you want to work with my agent FF Order, I've talked about this in the past, you're going to find the link in the description. Whether you want to create your Shopify store, you'll find the link in the description. If you want to build your store, you can shoot me a DM. And if you want to work with my fulfillment partner, you'll find the link in the description as well. And you can see all these things in detail in my previous videos of the YouTube dropshipping challenge that I've done from zero to over $800,000 in sales now. Fulfillment, you need to check every single image of the product before you ship it to the customer. And that's what private agents can do for you. They can get you pictures from the factory in China so you can see exactly what the product looks like. Always make sure that the sizes of these products are good before scaling that product and before even shipping it to the first few customers. It's okay if you have 5 sales, 6 sales, 10 sales, I would say even 20 sales. But where you're scaling a product to, let's say, 100 sales per day, you can't afford having the wrong sizes, you can't afford having the wrong product, afford having the wrong colors on your products. So this is something that's super important. I mean, it's common sense, but a lot of people still missing it. And then they're struggling with returns and refunds, how to manage these customers, and they end up drowning in a list of emails that they receive every day. This has been done on the surface level in the first stages of scaling the products. Like I said, get your first sales and start optimizing right away when it comes to fulfillment. Don't focus too much on the front end at the start. When you're testing products, don't go too crazy going over all the images of the product, making sure that every single order is on point, everything is perfect. All you need to do is to know what's the cost of the product, making sure that it's the same product. But then when you start scaling is when you start optimizing, getting the real price of the product, making sure that you're optimizing along the way, saving $1 here, saving $1 here, which will make a huge difference on your numbers when you're scaling. A lot of people are asking me, how are you able to get these prices on products? I see it a lot in the comments. Your products, there's no way they're profitable. It's because I build good behavior with my agent and I become a professional at a certain product that I'm selling. If I'm scaling a product, I start seeing that the sales are going to 50 sales per day. And I know that I'm going to double the budget on that product and start selling 100 or 150 of this product. I obsess over that product. Know every single factory in China that's making that product. I'll go and inform myself. Know how much this person is selling it for. Know how much this one is selling it for. Start negotiating for this price. Start negotiating for this amount of orders. What if we buy stock? What if we ship with this line? What if we sell it to a different country? Okay, and I'll negotiate every single thing once I'm scaling. If I'm not scaling, I won't negotiate, I won't bother about it. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind, super important, making sure that your fulfillment is on point, quality, sizes, pricing, especially when you're scaling. There's no point in focusing on that too much at the surface level in the first few sales. So now we'll move into returns and refunds, and what's important about it is to have serious customer support. Okay, you won't be able to scale to these numbers if you don't have a proper process on how to manage customers. Okay, so people that are not replying to customer support, not refunding their customers and just letting it happen, they're already set up for failure. It's impossible to get to high numbers if customer support is not processed properly. You're going to lose your payment processor, your business is going to have low feedback score, and it just won't work. Okay, you need to have a real process and make sure that every single customer is offered an option as soon as they reach out to you. Another thing you need to understand is that customer feedback is going to be mainly negative. You're not going to get all the happy customers basically blowing your DM saying that your product is amazing. Of course, you'll have some positive feedback, people saying that the product is good, that they like it, and that's the point. But most people that will reach out to you are people that are pissed about their order, that know something negative about it or have a negative thought about it. I've seen a lot of people in the past saying, oh, I've seen this comment about your brand, or I've seen this comment about your brand. And I can tell that these people never really ran a business at scale. If you didn't run a business at scale, you'll never understand this concept. People that will reach out to you, people that will leave feedback are people that are unhappy. And just think about yourself when you're leaving a review for a brand. Is it because you had a positive experience, or most of the time you only think about leaving a review when you have a negative experience? And that's how people think as well. Don't judge your business and the quality of your products or the quality of your business based on the feedback that you're receiving, if it's negative or positive. Okay, the positive feedback, you'll never hear from it unless you go and hunt for the positive feedback. All the people that don't reach out to you, most of the time it means they are happy. And the people that are reaching out to you, most of the time is because they have a complaint. And what you need to be focused on to know if you're running a correct business and if everything is in place is your chargeback rate. So your chargeback percentage, if it's under, let's say 0.3, 0.4% of all sales that you got, that means that you're running a proper business with the right processes, okay? You've seen that I've done over $200,000 in sales in the last month, and that's over 7,000 orders. And out of 7,000 orders, we only had around 11 chargebacks, which is around 0.17% of customers. Why? Because every single customer is offered an option as soon as they email us. Those options are partial refunds. If they want to return the product, we have a process for that. If they have a problem with the sizes, we have a process for that. If they want a replacement because they want to change the color, we have a process for that. Every single option that customers can come up with, we have a solution for that so they don't go and charge back. Of course, you'll see some bad reviews about my brand like any other brand. I recommend to people to see what the real brands are really doing. Most of the big brands are just reverse engineering their reviews by getting reviews, buying reviews, or pushing previous customers to leave reviews by giving them incentives, telling them they can get a discount or they can get a partial refund if they leave a review. But if you look at a huge business, which is Zara, okay, billion-dollar business that I buy from personally, love their products, buy a lot of Zara products, you'll go on their Trustpilot, for example, and look at the rating that they have. You'll see they have, I think, like 1.2 or 1.5 on Trustpilot. And the reason behind that is because they're not reverse engineering it. And you'll see that all the people that are leaving comments are leaving negative comments, because that's the way customers will usually take revenge on the brand if they don't go their way, if everything doesn't go their way. But you can see that that business, Zara, for example, is thriving because they have a real process in place and they don't really care about who leaves a comment here or who leaves a feedback here. They just know that their business is running. They'll never get into trouble. They don't have problems because everything is set up right and they know what they're doing. Okay, so that's what you need to be focused on, is just having a low chargeback rate. If you're profitable and you have a very low chargeback rate, your business is going to thrive. Everything else is just details. You can, of course, reverse engineer it. I can talk about this in one of my future videos, but that's really all you need to focus on. So, summary for this video and what you really need to understand is that always let metrics decide for your business. Never let emotions get in the way. Never get emotionally attached to a product, emotionally attached to the amount of sales that you were getting on a product, but let metrics decide, just like if a robot was doing the work. So hope you enjoyed watching this video. Like I said, now I'm in Dubai. I'm going to go enjoy the day. Hope you're having a blessed day as well. I'll try to share as much content while I'm here. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see it. Like I said, hope you have a blessed day. Hope you're just taking advantage of all this free value, and I'll see you in my next video.